Hi, welcome back to Unscripted, where I share my, well, as the title suggests, unscripted thoughts on whatever I'll have seen during the day. My For You page is something that needs some serious work, hey. But recently I discovered upon um, the loneliness epidemic denial. Like, what I mean by that is people denying the existence of the loneliness epidemic based on gender and societal standing and whatnot. So in the next couple of seconds, I'm going to play two clips for you that to me exude the exact same energy. I think they're TikToks or something. Two of the exact same energies are displayed on these TikToks, but the sad part is no one actually stands up to point out those differences, like to point out the similarities between factions. So yeah, I'm going to play them right now.
Notice how there's no female loneliness epidemic? We're like going back to school and becoming the most educated we've ever been in all of history. We're advancing in our careers and climbing the corporate ladder and becoming the breadwinner in a lot of our families.
Turning 40 this year and everything is just hitting me right now. It's like not where I wanted to be. I haven't succeeded at anything. Have I even tried? Like, I don't even know anymore. I don't know how to do anything. I don't know how to cope with anything.
We're traveling with our friends and taking Pilates classes and learning how to cook or sew or paint.
I'm telling you, that singleness only hits you at night. When you ripping and running throughout the day, when you at work, when you know, whatever extracurricular activities, when you doing hobbies, when you at the gym, you don't even care about being single. That's not even on your mind. But when you pull up to the house at night and you get in that bed alone, that's when you be like, I really wish.
We are developing ourselves and strengthening our bonds with other women.
Still on my mind, and we build it up.
Truth quietly. You are loved for what you do, what you produce, what you provide. And if you stop producing, the love gets cold. Like Chris Rock said, women, children, and dogs are loved unconditionally. Men are only loved based on what they can provide. It's not bitterness, it's biology. And once you see it, you don't unsee it. You realize no one's coming to save you. No one's checking if you're okay. People only notice when you stop carrying what they got used to you holding. So what do you do with that? We don't collapse, we build. Not for their love, but for our own legacy. We train, we earn, we discipline. We hold the line because someone has to. And you know what? If one day we are loved for more than what we can give, that's a blessing. But if not, we love ourselves anyway because we know what it costs to keep showing up when no one claps and no one is willing to help.
As we've seen, these two clips highlight the growing chasm of loneliness that is being faced by the world today. And I'm not a psychologist or anything that's like professionally um, recognized on the matter, but at the end of the day, I'm a human being. And that gets that in of itself, I feel justifies me having 2 cents on the matter because I'm a human being. I am capable of experiencing loneliness just like everyone else. And those two clips could really open your eyes once you get rid of the us versus them mentality, where it's like if you take the energy of the first clip, it's basically saying that it's implying that the loneliness epidemic is only faced by men in a sense, because like you also need to have like prior context knowledge to understand that. And the prior context knowledge is the world today has picked up that there's a male loneliness epidemic. So that first clip was a response to that statement, which I feel is true. I know a lot of guys who spend a lot of time alone and don't really interact with people. And I'm sure, as you can see in the background footage, I'm a gamer. And I will not lie to you, the extent to which this, like the game on screen right now, could fill someone's social interaction for the day. Like that's the maximum amount of social interaction this guy is going to get from playing this game. You will talk to people, you'll interact with people on the game, and you'll discover that they might not really have a lot going on for them in their day-to-day lives. And as sad as that is, I feel like we can't apply the cause of the male loneliness epidemic to men being the problem. Case in point, the first clip once again, um, highlighting how women feel lonely too, even if they don't participate in the toxic masculinities and all those things. And they aren't, well, everyone is capable of um, everyone is capable of causing harm to someone else. But for the sake of the argument, let's say they haven't hurt anybody. They're purely alone due to extenuating circumstances which are out of their control, right? They experience that. They experience that loneliness. They experience that emptiness. And you see it in most of them where it's like, you know, their lives are not as happy as they could be because of how lonely they are. And if someone wants to ask me what I think is the reason why we have a loneliness epidemic across the board, I think it's technology. I won't lie to you. I think it's technology and our age-old enemy, corporations. It sounds like a conspiracy theory, but trust me, listen to this argument. The best way to keep a society from experiencing any form of growth is to hyper-emphasize individualism for a species that is not designed for it. Like tigers are not designed for pack mentality. Tigers, the animal, they're not pack animals, right? So if tigers were to hyper evolve and become like hyper evolve and get to the same level as human beings, the best way to destroy the tiger society or the tiger planet would be to introduce maximum group activities, like um, put them in communities, put them in places where they can't rely on themselves wholly, but need to be part of a team. You will start to see that planet of tigers crumble because they're not designed for that. Whereas in the inverse, being humans, we need to be part of groups. We need to be part of communities. And recently, social media has made that impossible. Where, once upon a time, I used to believe that the sisterhood was a far superior social social form of governance than whatever guys have. And then as I grew older, I started interacting more with women who've been part of the sisterhood and everything. And they're like, it's not all that it's cracked up to be. And with continued like investigation and questioning and like getting to know people, I realized that each side has the same problems, but they're just worded differently. You get what I mean? Like, okay, fine. People will say that no, guys don't know how to create long-lasting friendships. Sure, girls, then in my defense, I would say girls don't know how to maintain long-lasting friendships. You get what I'm saying? Like they'll be like, no, guys, they're not really keen on getting to know each other. And I'm like, girls know too much about each other. And then it turns into a situation where you'll start to have people falling prey to their baser instincts of competitiveness. Because at the end of the day, as much as we're a social species, we're also a competitive species. And I feel that's where the loneliness epidemic also has roots in the sense that we compete for everything. So for someone to truly feel like they've won, they need to do something on their own, which is okay, fine, that's justifiable. Yeah, do it on your own, go out there, rule over yourself, you know what I'm saying? Like no one's saying you shouldn't do that, but then at what cost? What does it cost us? What does it cost you to participate in that? Like what do you get out of it? And there's a part of the first clip that I edited out, which I also feel does not help the discourse and the discussion, where this guy, this guy, he basically, the first clip was made up of his compilation of clips that he found, And then at the end of the video, he has this like smug look on his face. He's like, yeah, yeah, you thought you were slick, huh? And I'm like, that's not helping the discourse. That doesn't help anyone because an eye for an eye leaves everyone blind. Like we need to learn how to um, be charitable to one another. And once again, in a society that feeds off loneliness, charitability is one of the few things that we can have for one another. It's free. It's literally free. It doesn't cost you anything to be charitable to the next person. And just because like a group of people make fun of what your group of people goes through doesn't mean that they deserve it in inverse because at the end of the day we're all human beings, right? We're all human beings. We're all counting on each other. You get what I'm saying? So we need to be we need to stop we need to stop having division amongst each other and come together. And you'll find that like I remember one time I was talking to a friend of mine and I was like, you know how we could solve a lot of issues is if we get the incels, which are like the involuntary celibates, the guys who are weird and hate women, together with the femcells, the women that like are involuntarily celibate and hate men. And if they spend enough time in the same room with each other, they'll find that they're literally two peas in a pod. And they'll get and it could cure it. I believe personally that we could cure incel and femcelism by locking them in a room together and being like, yeah, well, interact. Let's see what happens. They will quickly, I believe, I have the hope that they will quickly put aside their differences and understand that at the end of the day, it's tough all around because both sides believe that it's the other side's fault that they feel this way. You get what I'm saying? And that's not true. It's the corporation's fault. I'm joking. Well, not quite. I'm not fully joking. I'm joking only a little bit. But it's the corporation's fault. They've streamlined everything, reducing the need for social interacting, reducing the incentive for getting along. If you look at, they'll say, no, we're going on a team building exercise retreat. All that is just promoting like competitiveness within the office. Like one group retreat doesn't solve the years of office competitiveness that people experience w- within the company. So it doesn't really help. And then their products do that as well. Like once upon a time, no one met each other on Hinge. They met each other through community events. Like no one met each other on Tinder. They had to go and like be part of activities like go boating, go fishing, go somewhere, go to the beach or whatever, go to a park or something, dog walking. That's where people would meet each other because that's when we had the most um social interaction. That's when we had everything um, as it should have been, in my opinion. And then the second clip is a painful truth that I, as a guy, have can say understand deeply, but I know that it shouldn't be that way. In a society where we are preaching evolved ethics, evolved ways of looking at things, we're looking inward more than we're looking outward. I think we should stop participating in things where we have people being looked at for what they provide. Case in point, the previous video that I made about influencers feeds a lot on the loneliness epidemic that is hyper, like that's blown out of proportion by the rhetoric of the second clip that I played, where it's just you are you are valued based on what you provide. We should stop thinking that way because what happens to the people who can't provide all the time? What happens to the people who have a lull in service provision? What happens to them? Are they supposed to all go to the back of the barn and get a bullet between the eyes because they no longer serve the function of the society? No, that's not what's supposed to happen. What's supposed to happen is you are valued for a human being. You're valued for who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone deserves to be cared for based on the simple. That's why we have human rights, based on the simple premise of them being a human being. Like because you are born human, because you have sentience, you you should inherently be given a value status of like it's such a big deal that if sentience, if you being who you are was not important, we wouldn't be so excited about space and aliens and stuff like that, because sentience would be everywhere. There'd be nothing special about you. But as far as I've seen, we're the only sentient species for light years and light years around. So that makes every single human life important. It makes every single human experience meaningful. Do you get what I mean? So all of those things, I feel, culminate in this entire disaster that we have of the loneliness epidemic. And now bouncing back to the first point, all those things that that girl listed, like the reasons why women don't have loneliness epidemics, those could be exclusive to a small group of people. It's not every girl who gets to go to Pilates. You know what I mean? There's some women who don't have money for Pilates. What happens to them? You know what I mean? So it's basically just, oh yeah, no, you don't have money for Pilates. You can't go to get a tan. GG, get wrecked full. You suck. That, like, that's wrong. That's wrong. And wide blanketing statements are, I feel, the innate downfall of everything, like the innate downfall of humanity as a whole. Like, we need to stop, like, we need to stop having minorities speaking for the majority, because that's how we ended up having Andrew Tate seeming like the spokesperson of all men everywhere. I disagreed with him on most things. Of course, sometimes he was right, and I was like, yeah, well, I guess, logically everyone should have that take, but then it shouldn't be all the time. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was my take on it. That's what I have gleaned from it. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And I'm gonna leave you with a final meme. I'm gonna leave you with the final meme that hopefully brightens the day.
Pay attention! I'm so free. All the other hell divers are scared of me. They're envious of me. They say the way I spread freedom makes me look unstable. They send me planet to planet, spreading managed democracy in their name. And as I get better at it, they fear me more and more. I am a victim of Lady Liberty. Helldiver. I don't even get a real name, only a purpose. I am capable of leveling an entire city with a single stratagem, but I can do so much more. Malevolent Creek, Meridia, Calypso, the Gloom, and Super Earth. I was there, and after all of that, just to say I did my part. Are you doing yours?